Why Gen Z is not growing up. This is something that could be interesting. You feel me? Bro, you fake for quitting Valorant. I didn't quit Valorant. We're hopping. Ooh, Ashley just pressed you. Audio is low. Can't be, bro. Can't be. I'm at 100%, gang. Audio can be low, bro. Audio can be low, gang. Audio can be low, bro. You cap. You cap. I bet. Hold on. Cause he fell with me back then, but how about now? How is it now? How is it now? How is it now? Yo, 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 yo.
Such a hard time with growing
Why Gen Z isn't growing up? I bet.
up is because Gen Z does not have any of the milestones past generations have.
What happens when an entire generation of people cannot enter a job market because entry-level jobs have...
Swizz, you not gonna talk back to Ashley? She pressed her shit. I'm not gonna lie. Oh.
Stop the cap.
Baby, you clock his TV.
Claps.
Nearly everyone I've talked to recently is just like, yeah, haha, I can't really afford groceries.
The average person in America under the age of 35 will never be able to...
I think there's a divide between this generation. There's bums. We have our bums, and then we have successful, driven entrepreneurs. You don't even have to be an entrepreneur. Go-getters, driven. And not even getting money. It's pursuing your passion. I think that's the richest thing in this world. I'm gonna be honest. It's not even about money. People have taught me it's not always about money, and I understand that. But the one thing I would say is, if you're not pursuing your passion, bro, you might as well. You're in that bucket with the bums. For me personally, if you're only following what your parents want you to do, I'm sorry, you're a bum in my book. I'm gonna be honest. I get they're trying to lead you to success, but at a certain point, come on, gang. Your happiness and your health, you know what I'm saying? That's longevity. That's longevity. Ash, what's good?
to afford a home.
What happens when an entire generation doesn't grow up?
Gen Z have no reason to believe that they're ever going to have economic security.
What's the point of planning a future when everything is falling apart?
I've been forced to drop out of university because I simply can't afford to keep studying.
I don't think our generation can budget their way out of this.
Gen Zer says they'll need more than $500,000 a year to feel successful.
At this point, I seriously think
How'd the
Gen
interview
Z
go?
is just screwed.
How did the interview go?
Gen Z growing up. If you've encountered a Gen Z person recently and somehow convinced them to like you, they might have shared one of their most sacred and beloved cultural traditions with you, complaining about how awful everything is.
Help wanted, but only for boomers and not Gen
I prepped heavy just for them to ask basic questions.
Z. My 2 new cashiers quit because I said their boyfriends couldn't stand
So that means it was easy though, no?
here for their entire shift.
And I, being a short-form brain-rot-loving Zoomer who has also spoken to other Zoomers, at least the ones who have...
I think you got the job. Speak it into existence. You got the job.
This lingering sense of hopelessness that's been permeating in the air. A kind of apathy. A kind of general disconnect from societal expectations. And while it's easy to just call Gen Z
Well,
something
Valorant after
like
this.
lazy, and I'll be the first to admit, it's pretty fun to do that too. If you take a moment to dig deeper...
Your boyfriend here, the Shiki here. The Shiki here, your boyfriend here. I need it, bro. It'll make me so happy. Speak it into existence. I'm speaking into existence for you. You got the job. I already talked to your manager. He said that you got it.
Into what's going on.
My favorite part-time streamer. We were actually live on Tuesday and you weren't there. My favorite part-time viewer.
You'll see that there are some pretty serious issues. They don't own houses, they're not married, they don't have kids.
Ash was there, by the way.
Many aren't even sure what they want to do with their lives. It kind of seems like Gen Z's life is just a sad TikTok edit that's on an endless looping cycle. And as a Zoomer, it seems like somewhere in the back of their mind, there's this quiet...
Oh, you was there. Okay. Tight vibe. So then what day was that? Now that was the day I said some crazy shit. I ain't saying crazy shit on Tuesday though.
Quiet, nagging voice that's just constantly talking to them. It's a quiet, disheartening feeling that by this age, they should be further. I mean, if we go back, our parents were buying homes at 25 years old. They were
because they cost 5 cents.
Starting families at 27,
Ashley with the heart me
starting
W's.
wars by 30. I mean, for example, recently I've been watching a show called Cheers, which for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a show that takes place in the 80s and 90s in a bar that's in Boston. In this show, there's a waitress at the bar, Carla Tortelli.
Thank you,
one of the
Ashley.
gags is
W's.
pretty much how many children she has. She starts the show with 4 children and then she ends it with 8. The wild part though is that she's able to support all of these children just with the money she makes as a waitress. And compared to
Don't call her Ashtray. Have some respect. Her name is Ashley, not Ashtray. Have some respect.
today, that's absolutely insane. I mean, you could probably barely keep a pet rock alive if you got paid what she did today. And when my 2 neurons started to fire and connected these ideas, I began to wonder if it
Ashley clocking my tea, man. 20 heart puffs. W's in the chat. Trashly maybe, but that's what I'm saying. Ashtray, you saying like people really be wiping stuff? Like, come on, bro. Like, gang, come on, bro.
generations before us
W,
were able to
Ashley, thank you so much for the money. You don't have to give me anything. I love you, and I just appreciate you for coming in my live. It just sometimes I just wanna. When life comes hard, you just gotta come harder. I forgot I had this on my soundboard. Come on.
all of these milestones.
Refund you? My refund button actually worked. It just broke yesterday.
Why does it?
I actually forgot I had that. What the heck?
So when I say growing up, I'm not talking about the rite of passage that is watching Nickelodeon and then being able to watch Nick at Night, then consequently falling asleep while watching TV and then waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat to the sound of the George Lopez theme song. I'm talking about reaching the milestones that people have been reaching for generations as they got older. It starts with moving out of your parents' house, then you get a job, you get married, you buy a...
He just cussed. They're actually rebalanced. Go off, King. It's a pentagram. Yo, gang. Y'all not finna... Y'all was just in love yesterday. What y'all think about the cut, though? Hold up. What y'all think about the cut, though? Am I looking good, though? What y'all think about the cut? I got a new barber. I went to a new barber today. What y'all think about the cut? Way cleaner. Tie vibe. I told him don't take anything off the top. I usually like cut it down lower so I can get waves, but I think I'm gonna grow my hair back out. I'm gonna be honest. Looking fantastic. W's.
home and you have kids. Not necessarily
appreciate y'all.
order, and maybe instead of having kids, you might adopt a feral dog.
Aww.
And for decades, most people followed that path. But if you look at where we are now, it's like somebody...
Yo, let me get that Phantom cut. Yeah, like, Dashiki, what she do, bro? And then you cooking meat, bro? Like, what you want, bro? Like, come on, man. We a family around here, bro.
is playing Sims 4 with the Lovestruck expansion pass. Then they went into the settings and turned the silliness up just a notch. Well, it was probably more like 100 notches. 100 notches of silliness turned up. And you know what? They probably changed how our...
I gotta lock in the video real quick, though. Come on.
A lot of people with unnaturally large...
Stay tapped in the video.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, about 32% of adults ages 18 to 34 are living with their parents. That's 1.5 million more young adults living with their parents than a decade before. And that's a 6.3% increase, which is more than double the rate of population growth for that age group. So in my brain, it sounds like we're developing a generation of basement dwellers. It's like
yeah, if you're living in a basement, bro, like just fries, bro. Like, I'm living in my grandpa's basement. Not for long though. W Gramps, on God. I'm just saying, we feel you, bro. Dashiki, just, you know what I'm saying? Ash just want to have a chill day, you feel what I'm saying? She just had a hard interview. She chilling, she vibing, you know what I'm saying? Have some respect, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I just said, you know what I'm saying, like 4 times in a row.
When Skynet created,
you know what I'm saying?
The Terminators to take over the world. Except instead of having an army of super cool looking robots, we're going to get an army of that one guy from South Park who plays World of Warcraft, which is probably more terrifying than the Terminators. On top of that, for the first time in modern history, living with your parents is the most common arrangement for adults under 35. More common than living with a spouse or a partner. Then what about marriage, you may be asking? What about the old ball and chain? The Institute for Family Studies projects that 1/3 of Americans who...
Y'all think I'm ever gonna find a wife, bro? Like, do you think, I know Valorant might not be the pipeline, but y'all think I'm ever in front of a girl, bro? I dare you to put a pentagram on the floor, light a candle on all sides, and see what happens. Huh?
Turn 45 in 2050 will never have married at all. Only 20% of 25-year-old women and 23% of 25-year-old men will have ever married today. And those are close to the lowest numbers ever recorded. But if it makes you feel any better, Batman was never canonically married. So there's hope for you. Except Batman probably also didn't canonically watch 4 hours of brain rot TikToks a day, but that's just me being nitpicky. In 1975, the most common outcome for young adults was reaching all 4 of those
Google
milestones.
is free.
They moved out, they got jobs, they got married, and they had kids. 45% of young people reached all 4 of those. Now let's fast forward to 2024, the year we were blessed with the appearance of Raygun the Breakdancer. In 2024, the most common pathway is just the economic milestones, which...
What are you teaching me? You're teaching me? You're teaching me, or are you talking about Mr. Dashiki? Let me know, Ash.
That would be working and living independently, but not married and not raising children.
Okay,
and
talk
that's
about.
now just 28%.
It's crazy how y'all was just
So
in
not only
love
are they
the last
reaching
stream.
less of these milestones, there's a lower percentage of them even reaching this lower amount of milestones. But here's the crazy part. These milestones haven't just shifted to be later in life. In many cases, they've disappeared altogether from the Gen Z past. So it's not that they're hitting adulthood milestones slowly, it's that they're hitting a completely different set of milestones. But with all of that being said, I feel like that begs the question, is this a personal failure or is something else going on? To afford the medium-priced home in America right now, you need to earn $112,000 a year. The median US income is about $87,000 a year. If you go into your closet and grab your thinking cap, which I know you may have some trouble finding it because you probably haven't used it in a while, you will find that there is a bit of a discrepancy between the two numbers that are $112,000 and $87,000. And the difference between those two numbers is a lot of Robux. Only 27% of Gen Z owns a home, and when baby boomers were the same age, it was over 40%.
The market has increased in all states. It just doesn't make sense right now for a lot of Gen Zers to get a home. It just doesn't. There's a lot of other... right out of college, like the houses back in the day was cheap, bro. Compared to what they are today, it just doesn't make sense right now to get a crib. I'm gonna be honest. Like that's what I was saving up for. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, bro, I'll be shooting myself in the foot if I get a crib. Right now, I gotta save up to be able to afford one, and then maybe as the what is it? The rates go down. Maybe I can get a crib. You know what I'm saying? When it makes sense. I need you guys to not beef with each other. This chat is supposed to be peaceful and happy, and you guys just make me sad every time you fight. And just, I know it'll fix this. When I hop on Valorant, we're gonna be good.
Monthly housing payments hit $2,800 at 2024, which was an all-time high. It was a record. It was in the record.
I said that.
Mortgage rates more than doubled from their pandemic lows, and if we look at rents in high-cost states like New Jersey and California, 40% or more of young adults are still living with their parents, specifically because they can't afford to leave.
For all the idiots that keep commenting, just leave, bro, just move out. You thought I haven't tried, bro? You thought I haven't never thought about that? You don't just leave or just move out. There's so many variables you gotta be in control of first. First off, in this economy, there's already the rent that you got to worry about. Everything's hella expensive for no reason.
Exactly, bro.
So if you're going for somewhere cheaper, you got to make sure that's still a safe neighborhood. So I'm trying to find a delicate balance between a good price and somewhat of a safe neighborhood.
And that's just specifically the housing side of things. What about the debt side? Student loan debt exceeds $1.7 trillion. It's tripled since 2007. Gen Z is paying an average of $526 per month in student loan payments, which is nearly double the overall average. And 84% of Gen Z with student debt say they've delayed major life decisions because of it.
Dashiki and Ash, I need y'all both to calm down. You feel me? I just want y'all to be happy, bro. Why can't we just be peaceful, bro? I just want to come in here and just see my people happy, bro. I want my peoples to be happy. Who cares about what the signal? Obviously, she's telling you that's not what her intention is. So, gang, just let her rock out, bro. That's not her intention of the symbol, and you have a perception of the symbol. And at the end of the day, bro, the world gonna keep spinning, bro. So either way, bro, it don't matter, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro.
The Bank of America survey found that more than half of Gen Z adults say they don't make enough money to live the life they want. Which, to be fair, if the measurement is for people to live the life that they want, that can be kind of an ambiguous thing. For some people, the life they want may be getting married, buying a house, having kids, and building a family. And for others, it might just be becoming the #1 Fortnite player in the world. And obviously, there's a bit of a difference between the difficulty and respectability of those two things. Which I don't want to hate on building a family, but becoming the #1 Fortnite player in the world takes a lot of strategy, discipline, and focus, while raising an iPad kid takes something. For the longest time though, adulthood felt like a step forward. It felt like a kind of promotion. Moving out meant gaining independence, gaining stability, and gaining a sense of responsibility and freedom. Now, moving out means you're pretty much losing any sense of stability that you had. You're taking on more risk than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And there's a lot of risk going on in that Pisa. It can feel like you're building your life on this.
Just be the bigger person and just let it rock. Gang, let's pause the video. Why are you not subbed up? Like 90% of you guys, let's sub up, let's follow me on Twitch, and we have a good video. You know what I'm saying? I get the conversation. I used to be like y'all as well, wrapped up in all the small things in life, but like life is just too short to care about things like that. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said before, she said her intention. It's not to be that symbol. But I'm saying, Shiki, we understand what you have seen in the media, but she just told you that is not her intention, bro. So let's continue. Let's watch the video, then we hop on Valorant, bro. We gonna be good. Just chill, just vibe.
San Andreas fault line, and Dwayne Johnson is not gonna come and save you this time. Over time, adulthood became way more expensive while wages stayed flat. And when things start to get more expensive but earnings don't go up, people don't progress because they can't. But here's the thing. If money was the only constraint that Gen Z was facing, you'd expect them to be complaining a lot. They definitely would be complaining a whole bunch, but they would still be functional. You might think that the milestones are delayed, but the ultimate outcome would be the same. But instead, we're feeling that something else is going on. Something that's harder to give a name. Something's happening that's deeper than money. Well, if you look back to the ye olde days of education, it seems like schools have given us a clear path to follow. Graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, get a job in your field, hate your job, get another job. And now, if I were to put it in the most elegant and scientific terms I can think of, the path is super dumb and super annoying. The World Economic Forum reports that the job market is changing so fast that half of today's workers will need to reskill within the next 5 years. That means that the skills and other things that you learn.
The market right now is cooked. If you've ever tried to get a job within like corporate America, it's literally almost impossible. You have to spam apply to every company. You'll probably either never hear back, put out your resume and let AI read it. Like you said, reskill in 5 years. That's very true to all things AI. In my interview, I had to tell them why I dropped out of college. What was their facial expression at that?
In college might be completely useless by the time you graduate. Meanwhile, the average amount of time Gen Z keeps a job is 2.3.
Nah, I think you'll get this job. To even get an interview is impressive. To even get in the door, there's a lot of kids that aren't even getting in these doors. They're just getting stopped at the door and saying, and then never heard from again. You feel me? You at least got an interview. You're millions times in front of a group of kids that aren't even hearing anything back. And then eventually they're going to give up. I've seen it too many times.
Years, which is the shortest of any generation. And it's not because they're lazy, good-for-nothing swamp rats, even though there may be a level of truth to that, but it's because the jobs themselves are unstable. Because companies lay people off and then post the same position 6 months later. It seems like the old way jobs work is no longer the way current jobs work. It's like we laid off the good job market. I tried to make a joke there. I'll let you guess how that went. Psychologist Jeffrey Arnett calls this period emerging adulthood, and he classifies this as a...
But the crazy thing is about 9 to 5s, I'm putting y'all on game, bro. It's like they fire these people that they feel like can't do the job. Then they hire somebody that is a little bit more skilled than them. But let's say that the person is too skilled. They're going to end up leaving because they feel like they're not being utilized correctly. Let's say that they're still not unskilled. If they're still not skilled for the position, they'll end up get fired. Then it's a toxic cycle of just continuously recycling the same type of person over and over again. And then if you hire somebody too skilled, they'll end up leaving because you're not using them properly. and they want to be stingy with the money and not give people raises when they deserve them. I told my current job that. Ooh, girl, you clocked 18. Without even getting this new job secured though. Ash, I thought we spoke about this. You're supposed to finesse the current job until you secure the second one. We talked about this.
A new developmental stage that didn't exist a few years ago. A period from roughly 18 to 29 years old where people are no longer adolescents but haven't stabilized into traditional adult roles either. But here's a big difference between Gen Z and previous generations before us.
That is 100% true. That's true. That is true.
Decisions. Economic necessity pushed people into jobs. Social pressure pushed them into marriage. Limited options made choices more clear. And now Gen Z has more options than any generation in history. More career paths, more lifestyles, more things to do. We probably consume more information in a single day.
Plus, I'm rich. I literally re-up my TikTok points for you. W's.
Than a peasant from the 1500s consumed in a lifetime.
Holy cow. I said, yes, I talked about the David video. I dropped a video on my YT. Go make sure you go to the YouTube if you haven't seen the YouTube yet. I have a team cooking up in the works in the background. I'm talking, I'm in the works with a couple people for my YouTube. I got a video I'm filming next weekend. So if I'm not live, I'm filming a video. It's going to be a banger. I'm not going to lie. My video that I filmed in Miami is about to drop coming soon. I don't know why bro's taking so long, but it's fine. But like I said, I'm building a team that I think will be good. We just got to make sure prices is right. Numbers is talking good, and we're going to be good. We're going to be good though. We're going to be good. But I'm definitely about to take YouTube like 20 million times seriously. I'm not going to lie. Reacts, IRLs, everything. I got to. YouTube is where it's at. If you want to grow on any platform, YouTube. Take YouTube seriously. If I had a restart of my streaming career, I would have doubled down on YouTube, triple 10x YouTube if I were to restart. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate you. I'm excited too. I'm seeing a lot of growth. I'm gonna be honest, from being consistent. When I first started streaming, I was somewhat consistent, but I wasn't. Oh my god, I'm about to rant for y'all. I'm about to rant. Hold up. When I first started streaming, I was consistent, but I didn't know. I was just posting on TikTok and just saying, "Yo, here you go." That was it. But then I grew. I became inconsistent, but then I was on other platforms: TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook's algorithm is impossible. But then I was inconsistent with streaming. I think this is the first time since I started streaming that I've been consistent on Twitch and on all the other platforms. So I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. So I can only whoa, Ashley, you might want to come back to the Twitch. Swizz came back. Swizz, that's how you feeling, gang? Yo, Ash, you might have to come defend yourself. I'm not gonna lie. And then, you know what I'm saying, bring the homegirls and come on, fry Swizz on a purple app. You feel me? He's talking crazy.
I genuinely don't know if a farmer from the 16th century could even handle something like Italian brain rot. It would probably send them into a coma. Because you think this endless amount of options would actually make things easier. But in a sense, this massive amount of abundance has started to create a sort of paralysis. When there's no clear path, every choice feels like a slot machine.
Whoa. Ashley, golly, it's like that? Swizz, you going out like that? I'm not gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? You a boom.
every choice feels like you might be making the wrong decision. There's a concept in psychology called learned helplessness. In the 1960s, Martin Seligman, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I tried my best, but maybe my best wasn't enough, I don't know. Martin Seligman ran experiments showing that when effort consistently fails to produce results, animals and people stop trying. Now apply that to Gen Z's experience. They watch their parents or older siblings do everything right during the 2008 recession and still lose jobs, lose homes, and lose security. They watched COVID ruin career plans overnight. They watched student debt become an endless pit with no clear escape. They watched the housing market become pretty much impossible to get into. And believe me, I still have not forgot that Duncan was clearly the best in the 2007 season of Total Drama Island and still didn't win. Is that another obscure reference or a totally fun and relatable one? Only time will tell. More than 2 in 5 Gen Z don't believe that their generation is set up for success. On one hand, they feel responsible for their futures, which they should, but on the other hand, they feel completely powerless to change it. The gap between this is your responsibility and
I don't get that though. How do you not have the ability to change your trajectory of life? You have every power to do so, especially after if you have graduated from college, you're moving on in life. You could, yeah, I am. You can, you have the ability to control every aspect of your life. I don't really get that. You gonna follow me? Appreciate you, Jasiki. W's.
But you can't actually afford anything creates a weird kind of psychological.
Man, you should tell 5 of your other friends to, you feel me, do so as well. I think that's a good idea. That's probably one of the greatest ideas you've had.
Difficulty. It creates a disturbance in the force, if you will. 36% of Gen Z has given up on the idea of ever owning.
People fall into January.
Position needed feeling, and I fear I didn't see it. It was just me and Dylan.
W Sock 626 for the follow. Appreciate you, my boy. W's in the chat. All love. Appreciate you for the follow. You won't regret this. I am the worst streamer in the world. So thank you for the follow. But here I wanted to touch on that. People fall into generational patterns, lack motivation. But that's the thing though. That doesn't have to be the only option. There are so many other avenues to change generational patterns. Even let's say your generation, you're the generations before you were lazy. Then all you have to do is not be lazy. And I understand, no, that's a bad way to say it. They put you in circumstances to fail. But let me see how I want to spin this. I agree, but there isn't inspiration. I think that's how it doesn't happen. But the internet I think the internet plays a big factor in people being able to see success without growing up in it. You feel what I'm saying? You could either look it up, people your age, learn skills on the internet. There's so much about the internet that could lead to you to be successful, have that inspiration to do better, rather than being at home and just lulling in life as it is. Like New York will have more opportunity than rural West Virginia. That's true, but New York isn't a very ideal place to go due to the fact of how expensive it is. Everything is expensive there. Virginia has options though. It's just that you have to do the due diligence to find out what options are available, depending on where you grew up. You feel what I'm saying? And I know. I appreciate you for having this conversation, this discourse with me, Ash. Socks. Appreciate you for the follow. What you think about this, bro? You're my only friend. We got to get Socks some friends. I appreciate you for following.
At home, not delayed it. They've totally given up. In many cases, I would argue that this sense of hopelessness doesn't come from faith.
Education levels be different though. Yes and no. I see both sides. I've seen people with degrees be successful. I've seen people without degrees 10x what people with degrees have gotten, because with the degree, they feel like there's one path to go towards. A lot of people with degrees do one straight path, the straight and narrow. People with don't degrees are hungrier because they know that they have to work for what they got, and they know what other avenues there are to make money rather than doing a 9 to 5.
Failure, but it comes from Gen Z putting in all this effort and not seeing any results. I mean, at the end of the day, you can, generally speaking, recover from failure, but it's much harder to overcome the innate belief that putting in effort is pointless and won't get you anywhere. But can Gen Z adapt to this new world? I want to share a stat with you that I found pretty interesting, and it actually gives me a sense of hope. Over 70 million Americans now participate in freelance work, which is 36% of the...
Over 7 million now participate in freelance work, which is 30%. Freelance might be where it's at. I think a side hustle, you have to have some sort of side hustle. The 9-to-5 rat race is literally a matrix. Like I've been preaching this since I started. Do you have a portfolio for stocks? I do, but it's like I have a lot of different portfolios actually on different platforms, but like, you know what I'm saying? I don't got it all memorized. I'd have to go look at it. I usually don't look at it. I set it up a long time ago, and you know what I'm saying? What's your number? What's your best stock though? What's the best stock right now? Put me on game. Tells me a lot about you. See, I'm a smart man.
The total workforce.
Smart minds think alike.
Independent workers more than doubled from 13.6 million in 2020
I do
to
too.
27.7 million in 2024.
I have that too.
52% of Gen Z is freelancing, and that means that they are the largest generation in the gig economy. And it's not because traditional jobs failed them or they weren't able to get traditional jobs, although that may be the case in a lot of situations, but it's because they're building something different. They're not waiting for permission. They're not following some random path that their school counselor laid out for them. They're building alternative paths, remote work, side hustles, creative careers, unconventional timelines. You can literally make...
My advice to y'all, don't just do the 9-to-5. Please pursue. That's the one thing I can preach is please pursue your passions. Life is way too short not to pursue your passions. I understand money could be tight. Continue to do the 9-to-5. When you have free time, take a nap when you get home. I know how tiring it could be when you get home from a 9-to-5. Go take an hour nap. Get up after the hour. And go do something that you're passionate about. And then do it for like an hour or two. It doesn't have to be for the rest of your night. It doesn't have to be forever. Do something you're passionate about. Please, 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 please don't fall into the rat trap. That's what ends up happening, bro. That's what I feel like happened generations and generations before. Money comes and go. I definitely value my time over the grind. I just want to live my life comfortably. Yes. Bring that same hunger you have and everything and apply it to all things in life. Maybe not in the 9-to-5, but you don't know where the 9-to-5 could take you. They could open up doors that you wouldn't even know about. You feel what I'm saying? But please pursue your passions. Please pursue your passions. I don't care. Please, 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 please.
Make money just from dancing on TikTok. Or you can also make money just from people watching you eat food, which is crazy. That is a crazy thing to say. People are paying you to watch you eat food. You can practically start a successful business with nothing but a phone. So I don't think our current world is awful, but it is different. So what does this mean for Gen Z? I already know there's going to be people who saw the title of this video, only watched 2 seconds of it, and then try to argue against everything I said in this video just by repeating the things that I said, because they didn't watch the video. Click on my videos just to comment how much they disagree when they didn't even watch the video. It's my favorite thing ever. This isn't a video about hating on Gen Z. This is a video about our system. Gen Z grew up in a world where old rules stopped working, where the milestones that defined adulthood became financially impossible for many people, where the career ladder got shorter and more dangerous, where comparison became infinite and constant. And I don't think it's necessarily that we're failing, but we're learning how to navigate it. And that's not to say that everything that we're doing or everything that we're trying to do is great or even good, but it's just a symptom of us trying to navigate this new world. And maybe the milestones were never actually the point. Maybe they were just synonyms for stability and progress. And if the old ways don't work anymore, that doesn't mean that progress is impossible. It just means there are different ways of achieving it. And if the old ways don't work, that doesn't mean that you're behind. It might just mean that
part of my current job is working on influencers. So you trying to feel me, your boy, you know what I'm saying? You know an influencer, you feel what I'm saying? Just go ahead, watch this. This is all your business needs to see, honestly. Just screen record this, all right? And then send it to your job and then let them know that we can work together, you feel me?
Hold on. 'Cause maybe I'm doing this wrong.